Try this again. Good morning.
Good morning.
We're not going to go through our regular list of announcements this morning, but I do have one in particular that we want to be mindful of. Many of you probably have already heard, but Winky Henderson passed away this morning. Winky has battled with health issues for a long time. So I know it's going to be tough on the family, but it's great for him. The only other thing, other than introducing Shane, is just a reminder that we're to be at Christopher's today at 1 o'clock. If you can be there to be a part of that devotional, I would encourage you to do that. As you can tell, I know many of you have already talked to Shane and Emily this morning. They are here with us to share in what has taken place with World Evangelism over the past year or so. We do support that work, and I don't know if Emily sends the report. Probably Emily sends the report. Each month, I guess. I don't know. I get them and read them. I don't know how often they come, but they do send reports to us to keep us up to date on what's going on, and they're involved in a lot of stuff. So Shane's going to share that with us this morning, and then following our class this morning, Shane's also going to deliver our message during worship. So I'll give y'all Shane Fisher.
Thank you. This one went, okay, good morning. It's certainly good to be here once again, to be with y'all and talk about the mission work. I'm so thankful for y'all being a mission-minded congregation. I just want to let you know that. Y'all are certainly a blessing to the Ukraine and all these other places that you'll see as we talk about today. When I think about, of course, world evangelism, just to let y'all know, some of y'all are not familiar with the work, but to give you an overview, basically it's talking about, basically we see that it's there's a radio and TV involved, primarily in India, but also in places like the Philippines and some places in Africa. And so we try to get mass media exposure, right? And so you want to try to reach as many people as possible. And I just think about, Andrew and Peter, James and John, they're with the Lord, and remember they've been toiling all night, right? Trying to cast those nets and try to find some fish. Well, it's the case that, of course, Jesus said, cast your nets on the other side, try to find another opportunity, and that's exactly what Peter and all of them did, and of course, they caught more fish. And so we have opportunities laid before us. We just got to have faith and take advantage of those opportunities. And so I'm just so glad that y'all do that, and we do that also with regards to this mass media work. Talking about basically the next thing that's on our list of what we do is, of course, you reach as many people as possible. And then what we kind of try to think about is, okay, we have something that we can put in their hands. We got literature like The Voice of Truth. We got our books. We got about over 200 books or so. And then we got the tracts that have been translated into different languages and stuff of that nature. And so, it's very wonderful that we do that so that people can have something in their hands and they may read it. They may read it later. We had this happen with a lady who was actually the one in Ghana. She was a mother-in-law to the printer. They'd been staying with her for 20 years about becoming a Christian. Finally, she made the decision and wanted to become a Christian, and her son-in-law was like, "Why? Why now? We've been talking to you about the Bible for 20 years." And she said, "Well, I've been reading The Voice of Truth." And I decided, it's time to become a Christian. So, it's just things like that. We're just very thankful that this has been helpful in follow-up work. So as you can see here, we got different, I know you don't worry about reading those. I'm basically just trying to show you a lot of different languages that have been, these books have been translated into. And that's only 43 that I was able to locate. I think that's awesome, and there's thousands of different languages. We're only touching a hem of the garment there. And then we can see the case that would lead, we hope, to converts, right? We want people to become Christians, and that's exactly We want people to be added to the body of Christ. And so that's what takes place. And then we don't stop there. See, we plant, water, God gives the increase, but God tells us to develop, right, to grow. As newborn babes desire the pure milk of the word that you may grow thereby. And 2 Timothy 2, verse 2, Paul told Timothy to teach faithful people who will be able to teach others also. And so it is the case that that's how the church is going to keep on growing and succeeding. And so that's one of the things that we do is talk about how we have the School of Evangelism, JC School of Evangelism in India, in which Brother Kingsley and Philemon, they do a great job of taking these brethren and helping them to become basically, how do you evangelize to your neighbor? And so we're just so thankful for that because that leads to more conversions. And so that's what we want. And so I hope that makes sense. Now, going on to basically what you're seeing here on the side in the map of Africa, I just want you to know I've not been to all these places. But what I'm trying to tell you about these places is that these are places, we've been to Kenya in 2023, and Jerry Bates, our co-worker, he's been to some of these places as well, Zimbabwe and other places. But what we're trying to say is, you see, we produce a lot of literature. We produce The Voice of Truth, we produce our tracts, our books in these different languages, and so you can see, I hope, how great it is to distribute these among people and so that they can learn the truth. And we've seen that take place, and we're going to see some examples of that this past year. So to give you some examples of this, let's talk about Kenya for a moment. So in Kenya, we did have the Bible Keys book by JC translated into the Luo language, and we see the case that they were able to plant one new congregation. They were also able to help restore a congregation, and they were also able to get 34 conversions. And so we're thankful to God for that. Here, going to now to the map of Ethiopia, Brother Belay is his name. And Belay's translated several of our books. And he's actually been working on my book, Questions About Mormon Doctrine, and he wants to help print that book. But anyways, we see that is a case that he's been able to plant 6 new congregations, and what he does is he actually sends his sermon outlines to these people to use and helps teach them how to worship God in the way that God set up. And so it's pretty interesting the way that he's doing this, and I pray to God that it will continue to grow. But you can see 28 conversions, 65 Bible studies that he has ongoing. And so we pray that this continue to grow. He says this has not been done in Ethiopia. We're very thankful for these books. And so the good problem is there's a good problem. There's always good problems in the church, and that we need more funds for the printing of these books. So, that's some things that we think about in regards to this. Then we turn our attention to Uganda and South Sudan. So here is Brother Nixon, and he's translated the Church of the Bible into the Acholi language. He's also did the New Testament worship book. We haven't printed that yet because we're waiting on this Christian college there. They're building a printer. So when they build that printer, it's going to be more cost effective for everyone. And so we're going to be thankful for that. But he did some seminars with some preachers, and as you can see, there was 25 conversions in regards to that. Here is the other literature in Africa. We're thinking about Zimbabwe. So Brother Jerry Bates went here, and basically Jerry went to the prison systems. And what's interesting about the prison systems is that a lot of people have accepted and obeyed the gospel there. But what's awesome is there have been people, even the officers, the police officers in the prison system, they also are wanting to become Christians. So it's really exciting to see that take place. And as you see, we've done a lot of books in the Shona language and the Nedabele language. And in the past year, there was 300 conversions and 2 new congregations planted. And then, focusing our minds on what we do in Nigeria. So in Nigeria, we print the Voice of Truth, also in Ghana and Zimbabwe. And so we see as a case that they'll print 6,000 copies of these books and distribute them to use in their Bible classes, to use for their evangelism tool. And as you see, there were around 60 conversions last year. Here is now our first place that we went to last year. You might think, well, Utah, Well, yeah, Utah is actually a place that is in need of the Lord's church. And I'll share with you why in a moment. But we went there, as you can see, from May 8th to the 26th, and we were with the Clearfield congregation. And the preacher had asked me if I would come out because I've written books about questions about Mormon doctrine. And so we did a little door knocking for their vacation Bible school. And it was really interesting. The one thing that really kind of got us into the door, so to speak, was our accent. They really enjoyed our accent for some reason. So, so we got to talk to these people, and basically people were either non-religious or they were Latter-day Saints. So it was kind of interesting in talking with people. But we were able to establish some Bible studies, and we're still off and on having a Bible study with this young couple up here. This is Joseph and Rachel, and they're very kind. They're Latter-day Saints, and so we've just been kind of talk with them, and it's a slow process. Just to let y'all know. But I did a seminar there online. I put it on YouTube just to let y'all know that in case y'all want to know. And like I said, it is a mission field. There's only 15 churches of Christ in Utah. Think about that. And we think about out west. The church is more needed, and also the northeast. So I hope we think about the United States is a mission field. And we want to, it's part of our world. And so we want to reach people with the truth. I want to go to now basically the Caribbean island shipments. So it's really interesting here is that basically we went to Smyrna, Tennessee, and we did this in December. And so we basically took a lot of the Voice of Truth, took a lot of our books, took a lot of Brotherhood magazines, like the Spiritual Sword and things like that, and we decided to ship it to these places like Jamaica, St. Vincent, Tobago, and so we were very thankful to help do that. Now I want to talk about the Philippines, where we went in our July trip. So it was very awesome to be with the brethren here. Once again, we begin going here now this is our third time in 2025, and so it was really awesome. This is Asian Christian University. And basically they're in what's called Bugalan, and they're in Luzon area, that green part, and they're about 2.5 hours north of Manila. And so it was really good to be with them and help them in their mission works. They've been doing this since 2008. They produce young men as gospel preachers, and some of these, their goal is really amazing. I think is to help the Filipinos, which they're Asian looking, right? So they'll fit in more into countries like China. So China is one of their goals in reaching people, and they teach Mandarin Chinese there at the school. And they have established in some places like in Macau, China, where basically they're teaching the gospel there. And so we're just very thankful for what they're doing. But I was there, basically I've been teaching a class on how to interpret the Bible through Zoom. And so we taught that through the springtime of January through May. And so really glad to be with them during this time. So we were there in the month of July, as you can see, to a little bit of August. One of the things we also do for the Philippines, just to let y'all know, if you have any used Bibles, if you have any Spiritual Sword or the Gospel Advocate Foundation series, or you name it, Think Magazine, all these Brotherhood magazines, we use those and we put those into these things, into these boxes. They're about 200 pounds worth. They're only $130 to do. And we did 14 boxes in July. We did 11 boxes in December. And so it takes about 4 months for these boxes to get to the places where they're going. So this was the team that we were a part of past year. And a lot of these brethren were from Alabama. From West Huntsville congregation. And so it was really exciting to be with each and every one of them. Some people were from Texas, some were from Canada, and so we were just very thankful to be with them. Like I said, one of the things we do is we go to their graduation, so it's really exciting. It's upcoming for some of us. Our grandchildren are going to graduate from high school or college, and you're going to be a part of that. Well, it's good to be a part of also the brethren who are in these schools of preaching and help celebrate what they're doing. And so they had 11 students who graduated with their bachelor's and 1 student with a master's degree. And so we were very thankful for that. Here is basically, I was teaching that class on how to interpret the Bible, and you can find it on YouTube. if you'd like to study things like that, because that's one of the important things to do is how do we know the right interpretation of Scripture? And I think that's very important in this day and age. So here, this picture here is of the girls of what's called Christ Happy Childhood Home. There's a girls' dorm and there's a boys' dorm. There's a girls' dorm on the campus, and the boys' dorm is separate. And so what we do each night that we were going there, we would go to the boys' dorm, we would sing songs of devotional with them, and we would play with them and have some fun. And then we'd go to the girls' dorm the next night. We would play with them and, have devos and things like that. And so it was just really exciting to get them all together, and we took this picture with them. Here is the Sunday morning picture, basically each of the team members basically went to different congregations. So Emily and I went with the congregation of the Malaski Church of Christ, which Kevin Kim, he's one of the faculty members there that teaches the Asian Christian. And so it was really great to do the Bible class, do the sermon like I'm doing here today. And what's great is they had moved locations. They were actually last year I showed you a picture where they were outside under just a little roof, and if it rained, you're going to get wet. So I'm glad that these brethren supplied a place for them to now be a part of. And there was 2 conversions that took place that day as well. Like I said, this is the 3rd time we went, and man, the typhoons were bad this year. I mean, it was terrible. It just kept on raining, and as you can see, this cow has his own real estate being on his island there, and I thought that was just very interesting. But I thought, sometimes you think you're going to sink or you're going to swim, so I just thought about that. So I wanted to give you all an update. We did this. This is a 60th there's 63 congregations they've been working on establishing since 2008. And so this is the 60th congregation that Emily and I helped with in Megateram. It was about an hour away, about 30, 40 minutes away. And so we were very thankful to be helping establishing that congregation. And then the next year we went to San Clemente, and that congregation is still going, and we're very thankful for that. And then we got to be a part of the 62nd congregation, which was Cabo Starlight. And notice that it's 2.5 hours away. So you had to get up at 5:30 to get there. And it's still a congregation that is struggling. I asked Brother Derek last night about the congregation. He said it's still struggling some. And it was very tough, and I'll talk about it in just a moment. So we were able to do what's called basically a medical clinic, where people can see a doctor or dentist for free, and then we offer them, would you like to have a Bible study? And so we're very thankful that during these 2 days, which was from 8 o'clock in the morning basically to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and as you can see, we actually had more this time, more Bible study groups, and so we were very excited about that. We had the Asian Christian University faculty, we had preachers from around the areas that came and helped with this. And so, as you can see, there were 250 patients that went through, and there were about 75 Bible studies that took place. Usually, you get around half as much. So we were hoping for 125 Bible studies, but we only got to have 75. But that's what it's all about, is planting, watering, and God will give the increase. And then we see the challenges that took place for us. We went door knocking 2 days after this. Actually, Emily and I, we stayed a little bit longer to help because we thought, we want to make these trips, so to speak, count. And so we wanted to stay a little bit longer and help up some more follow-up. And as you can see, we traveled some places that were really far away. And at first, there was only 2 worshipers on the first Sunday. They are up to about 5 now. So, it's one of those things that we were trying to help, keep that congregation. They're trying to help keep that congregation going. Here's one of the things that we tried to help with is Emily and I decided, our brother Kevin Kim suggested, hey, let's help with, translating some of the books of world evangelism and using those in our follow-up evangelism work. And so we decided to do that. We did the Ilocano Church of the Bible. And so we did 5,000 copies of that, and as you can see, it went throughout the places. I went throughout to these preachers. Actually, the one preacher there on the left-hand side is Brother Gary Collado, which is Kevin's dad. And so he helped translate the book, and we're very thankful for his efforts. And so as you can see, it's going to all these preachers, and they're using it for their evangelism efforts. There's some congregations that received it, and this is one of those congregations that received the Church of the Bible in that language, and so very thankful for that. And then we decided to do the Sevillana Church of the Bible. This had been already translated for quite some time, and we thought, hey, let's print this book now. So they printed it there, and they shipped it down to Cebu, and so we were able to let them distribute it in a preacher's meeting. And as you see, these preachers are there, and they're receiving their distributed copies of the Church of the Bible. Then, what's really great is y'all get to see the new pictures. So we just got done a few months ago doing the Tagalog. So Tagalog is the national language in the Philippines. And so we're very thankful that they were able to print these 10,000 copies of these books and distributed them among the preachers. We actually even distributed it in a Christian youth camp so that it would be much cost effective on us, so that the kids could take the books, bring them back to their home congregations. So we're really glad that that idea was thought about. And so really awesome to see that take place. Here are some of the congregations that are receiving those books. And just to let y'all know, this is not all the congregations, but this are some of the congregations. Just wanted to give you some ideas of people who are receiving copies, and they're going to, talk about it among their neighbors about the truth. And so one of the things I decided to do on AI, if that's okay, I wanted to show y'all 19 reasons to print literature overseas, okay? Now, AI unfortunately, just sometimes did the same reason twice. So that's why you'll see that I marked out some of these, because I was like, well, I don't want to have to show that again, so that's okay. But as you can see, it's an effective evangelism tool. It's a pattern of written teaching in Scripture, guards against doctrinal error, the Word of God endures. In fact, you see it's the case that, people will have these books for many years to come and can go on to the next generation, right? When you think about it. Then we do it for economic and stewardship reasons, so it's cost efficient, avoids shipping delays if you do it there in their own country, right? And then we see that, sometimes in some places the internet's just not that good. In fact, one of the things that we do is we do what's called worldevangelismlibrary.org, and so you can download all of our books for free from that website. But if you don't have access to the internet, then we're thankful that we have these printed literature that they have. And then you can train the local leaders. You can have classes, right, and help them to develop the knowledge. Encourage personal Bible study is what we want to do. And sometimes, if there are power outages and technology barriers, then of course that's going to be hard on them, right? And then we see the case that you can reach where missionaries cannot stay. That's one of the things that we're thankful for, in that we're able to reach people with the knowledge of the truth if missionaries are not even there. And so, as you can see, there's lots more reasons that we do this: evangelist reasons, discipleship reasons. But I just thought it's cool to see some of those reasons why we do what we do. All right, now I want to talk about India. So India, like I said, is our primary place that we target, and we've been doing this for many years. We see as a case that there will be an Indian speaker there. He speaks a language like Hindi, or there's other preachers that speak Marathi, Tamil, Malayalam, and so we're very thankful for them in teaching either teaching now mostly on television instead of, it used to be radio. And so I just want to show you how our trip kind of went. You kind of go through the Bible and look at Paul's missionary tours, right, where he went. Well, I want to kind of give you an idea where we went really quick at first. So we started in New Delhi, and then we went down to Maharashtra, where they speak the Marathi language. And then we went to basically Kakinada in Andhra Pradesh, where the Gutams live, and they speak the Telugu language. And then we went to Tamil Nadu, and they speak the Tamil language. So we went to 2 groups of brethren down there. And so I want you to think about, if you don't mind, praying keep on praying for India. Here's the reason why. So there is what's called the BJP party. They've been in party now for several years. They are a pro-Hindu party. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to keep missionaries from coming in. They're trying to add no conversion laws to most of these 29 states. They've already done that in some states. So if any preacher's found, studying the Bible with somebody, those preachers could go to jail. We see that one of the things they're trying to do is they're trying to keep foreign funds. This is one of the recent things they're trying to do, is trying to keep foreign funds from coming in from different places so that they can cut off those funds, right? And so it's becoming increasingly harder for us. And so I just ask you to pray about this, and that's all I can do. But let me keep on going now to where we went to. So I started in Delhi, India. So this is where the Davids live. Sonny David is the one who teaches on the Hindi program. Also his nephew, Vinay. And so this is Sonny's family here that's pictured here. As you can see, they do at average or receiving about 15 Bible correspondence courses per week. Now, as you can see, that's pretty low. Up there in the northern part of India, it's been very tough soil. You'll see in western part and down south, you're going to see a lot more people are interested. But they do a Bible Teacher Monthly magazine in Hindi and in the English. And the sad thing is we did lose one of our TV speakers. We lost Brother Francis David. And so that's the brother of Sonny and the father of Vinay. So I just ask you to pray for that family. So Vinay and Sonny, they're doing a great job of being the preachers there. In fact, what's sad to me is that this was a congregation, the one congregation I knew about that had an eldership. And because, Francis passed away, that left no elders. And so I ask you to continue to pray that this congregation may be able to once again reestablish an eldership. But they're doing a good job of being the preachers there and teaching. And I got to teach in a Saturday night gospel meeting and Sunday. And so it was wonderful to be with them. I wanted to show you some interesting pictures in India. Sometimes you get a cool picture where you see a monkey and he loves to steal from other people. And he stole this ice cream cone from this guy. And I thought, hey, let's take a picture of that. Because I think that's pretty interesting. Here we are going now to going to Maharashtra. So this is a place where they're really trying to crack down on Christianity. So I ask you to pray about this. What's really amazing to me is how God works. So, Apologetics Press, they put out a book called The Quran Unveiled many years ago, I think like in 2005. So I read it and, of course, took notes on it. And, of course, I taught on Islam there because Islam is one of the main religions of India. And it was in a seminar. And I just talked about, what must Christians do in relationship to Islam? And I told us we got to pray for the Muslims. We got to love the Muslims. We need to ask questions. And I tried to be more, just asking questions about the Quran. What does the Quran teach about this? And wasn't really being, not really hammering it down. But anyways, there was actually a Muslim couple in that place. They actually heard it, and it was several years later they obeyed the gospel. And now they're being under attack, so to speak. And I ask you to pray for this family to stay and endure. But anyways, this is Brother Amol. He's the one who speaks the Marathi language. Does a really good job on the TV program, doing it 3 days a week. And as you can see, for 5 years, and I need to put the new updated version, there's around 55,000 almost Bible correspondence courses have been sent out, and about 1,900 Christians. So it's just really exciting to see that for the last 5 years. So one of the things we did there is we had a 3-day seminar. And basically, the year before, I taught on Revelation 1 through 12. And so wanted to take it very slow And then this part 2, Revelation 13 through 22 is what we did this year. And then Emily, she taught the ladies on lessons from the book of James. And so it went really well, being with them in the morning and the afternoon. This year, Lord willing, I'll be teaching on the book of Daniel with them. Here at night, we're going to different places and teaching the gospel, because you got to be kind of secretive about it. So we went to these places out on the outskirts. And so we went into this one village that we've been in before, but we went to some other villages, and we were very thankful that we got to see some people who did obey the gospel. We're very thankful that for those who have actually contributed in helping preachers with sewing machines, because it helps with their income. We can't pay preachers, but it helps with their sewing. They can make clothes and sell them, and so they can make a little bit of money on the side. So we're very thankful for that. Here is going now to Andhra Pradesh, where they speak the Telugu language, and so we're very thankful to be with them. They're at the Santavani congregation, and it means the Voice of Truth congregation is what that means, Church of Christ. And so they've been doing this work for many, many years. So there's Joshua. He's still up in his late 80s. And then he has 3 sons, Robin, Ronnie, and Ricky. Ricky actually went to Harvard. And Ronnie, he got into the Memphis School of Preaching. And so we're very thankful for Ricky here. He's the one that translated for me in the sermon. And I also got to be a part of the Bible class and teach there. And then I got to also even teach online. They wanted me to teach some lessons about premillennialism. And so got to do that. Then we went, Emily got to have her on Ladies' Day with the ladies there at that congregation. And many ladies, as you see, went and were part of that, as you see from the picture. And so it went really well. Here is a picture, basically what you see of the mail for one day that's actually going out. Now, it's amazing to see the mail that comes in. That's a great picture. But here's the mail that goes out, and they give out Bibles, they give out the monthly magazines, the bi-monthly magazines, and some other things. So it's just amazing to see the work that they're doing. Here is Brother Ravi. Been working with him since 2021, in which I give money for Bibles to him, in which he buys the Bibles, and then he actually been letting people take a Bible correspondence course, finish that Bible correspondence course, and then we give these people a Bible. They go to the congregation and they distribute Bibles to people in that place. So as you can see, we've done a lot of wonderful work. We got to go to one congregation and do it ourselves, and distribute those Bibles to the people. Just to let y'all know that 300 Bibles was met. That's pretty awesome. But they're also in need of bicycles, because they want to go around and, as a good form of transportation, and preach the gospel for these gospel preachers. They also, of course, want to have sewing machines to help with some incremental income. But as you can see, there's a lot of Bible correspondences that have been given out, right? 4,600 Bible correspondence courses given. So we're very thankful for that. Here is something you might like to look at, is eating the food here. I was telling this brother Matt, what's your name, brother? James. He was telling us, he had a relative, he says, who ate steak and potatoes. Well, he went over to India and tried the food, and he didn't like it. Well, I'll be honest, we don't like it either. but it's pretty spicy, but this is what you eat. So we're very, it's something that I just wanted to show you guys what kind of the food looks like there. Here is basically going to now Tamil Nadu. So we'll go down to the south part. So we have 3 teams there. We have Arjunan, Philomena Raja and Kingsley, and then we got Rajanagam. So we went to the 2 of them, and basically what we did was we had a seminar with Philomena and Kingsley, and for 2 days we were at this one location. I taught on leadership lessons, and Emily got to teach on lessons from the book of James to the ladies, and so it went really well. They help a lot with the blind work, so there are a lot of blind people in India. And so just to let y'all know about that. And so what's interesting is we had 2 meetings. One meeting took place in Trichy, and another place we did in another place. And as you can see on the right-hand side, that's a bookcase, right? And you might think, that's all a bunch of different books, and it is, but actually it's one Bible. Think about that, one Bible. That's the Braille Bible. So it's not feasible to give a blind person basically a big bookcase of the Bibles. What we do is we give them the audio Bible in their language. And so that's one of the things that we distributed there. And so we were very thankful. You can see that we're also passing out the Voice of Truth in the Braille language as well. I thought you'd be interested in seeing these brethren who make things. I think it's awesome because I don't think I could do this even though I can see, right? I mean, it's amazing to see people making seats. They're, of course, making something and turning it into something I think would be, of course, easy. We saw them do that 10-step process. But then, I mean, making purses, wow, that's just, I think, pretty fascinating. And I'm just thankful for Brother Samuel and his leadership and him come up with these ideas on these people and how they can make their own income that way. Here we are at the Sardi congregation, where Philemon and Kingsley are the preachers. And so it was really wonderful to be with them and teach the Sunday morning lesson. We see that there were some people who were added to the body of Christ. In fact, this one lady, Kingsley said her name was Elishabeth. Elishabeth. And I was like, I've never heard that name. And he said, Shane, don't you know John the Baptist's mother? And I said, Elizabeth? He goes, oh, yes, Elizabeth. So, English communication, right? Communication. Then we got to have a youth day with the children, and let me tell you, this youth day I think was very great. I taught in the book of Proverbs. The same problems that are with our youth here in America are also with them, and so it was really good to communicate that with them on how to live a wise life. And Emily got to have a ladies' day with the Sardi congregation on another day. And then we went to basically this place where there was two congregations who came together. They had been having these classes on that JC School of Evangelism, and they're going to graduate. And so there were 60 students that graduated from this. And Emily and I came in and basically had those classes at the very end. And we were very thankful for that. Now, what's interesting is you see this picture down on the right-hand side. They're fixing a fan. So while I was teaching this class, it was kind of interesting. All of a sudden, it just went haywire. And it looked like it was going to come down and chop somebody's head off. Thankfully, it didn't. So they're trying to fix it there. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Then we see the case, the JC School of Evangelism, basically just showing you where those places were located. But here's the really cool thing. I think this is pretty awesome. So you can read about how many tracts are distributed, how many Voice of Truth are distributed. But I think it's really cool is that their giving increased. One congregation doubled, and another congregation gave 5 times as much. So I thought that was really neat of what they were doing. And then, just to let y'all know, the Wi-Fi passwords in India are very strong and very secure. So, then we see the case, we went to another congregation, and we got to be with Rajanagam and his son, Abel. Abel is a doctor, and his wife is also a doctor. So what they've been doing for the last 3 to 4 years is they've been going around doing medical camps. And this is a way to basically do social work service, but also, be able to try to bring people in contact with the gospel underneath the radar, so that the government doesn't really know what they're doing. And so we're very thankful that they do the work, and they've been helping people to be converted to Christianity that way. And so they've been doing, 80 medical camps or something like that. It's 2 medical camps per month. So you can see it's been a while. And they do cost a lot. They cost $700 a piece, but they are well worth it. And people, we had a little session there at the seminar where I said, you know what? I'd like for you to stand up and talk about the work that's been going on with these medical camps. And they shared some of the things that have been going on, and some of them haven't even had medical camps yet. So very thankful for the possibilities of the future, of what it holds. Here we are, just telling you basically we could not go back to northeast India because of the persecution that came came there in 2023, so it's just not safe to go back. But we've been able to let our books be translated. So this is the Scriptural Organization of Churches of Christ. And so we're very thankful that the Manipuri language was translated. Here's the Church of the Bible in the Nagamese language that was translated. And you can see 5,000 copies of that were distributed. And then, of course, just love for y'all to be a part of our Facebook group. You can see a lot more pictures of things that are being done than what you see here on the slides. And if you like to get on YouTube, this is my channel. You can just put in Shane Fisher Fruit if you like to listen to new hymns. We produce about 260 hymns, just to let y'all know. And also, World Evangelism Library is where you can find all of our books and audio books and things like that. And so here's the new books. I'm not going to tell you what they are, but basically you can see what we've been putting on the website and these different languages. So just to let y'all know. Now, we already been to Guyana, just to let y'all know. We went there in February, but I'll talk about that, Lord willing, next year. So I just really appreciate, so thankful that you guys listened, and so thankful for this congregation helping us. Really appreciative. Anybody got any questions you want to ask?
So with the persecution in Nigeria of Christians right now?
Yeah, there's persecution going on in the northern part of Nigeria.
Is that affecting what y'all are able to do in Nigeria at all?
So, from what I understand, so we send the Voice of Truth books to this brother, or to print in I want to say it's southeast Nigeria, and so they're not as heavily affected by that.
Okay.
So, but keep that in prayer, because there are people who are getting killed for the Christian faith.
How many days out of the year are y'all on the road?
On the road?
How many days out of the year are you traveling?
Overseas?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure, because I traveled here today. So, we're about a month in India, a month in the Philippines, so right 3 months. But one of the things, I don't really, y'all would find it boring what we do at the office. So I talked about what we do at the office. Emily and I, we're taking care of doing the Voice of Truth almost. We're laying out the articles and stuff like that. And so designing those, and that takes a lot of work. And we're actually, Brother Lewis, he's doing a great job. Thankful for him as being the editor. But someday he's going to pass that on. I don't know, when that day will come. But, that's going to be a lot more work for us. So I just ask you to pray for that. But there's a lot of work that goes on under the behind the scenes. Let me put it that way.
A lot of people may not know, maybe they do know. I know you're sponsored, you're overseen by the church
Yeah.
in Hobart, but y'all are in Winona where you do
Right.
all your work.
Right.
There.
So, we volunteer to work with World Evangelism. Just to let y'all know. So that's why we just I put it that way. Any other questions? Okay. Well, just to let y'all know, Betty is doing fine. She's going to be 86 this year in June. So just, thankful for the work that she's done, but she's pretty much given control of those of us who are the co-workers there in Winona to try to go about doing the work. So just pray. I would ask you to pray for actually younger co-workers. I'm about to be in my 40s, and so it'd be great to have another younger person, just to let y'all know if you know of someone who would like to do this kind of work. So thank you so much. Appreciate it.